After my interesting experience in Western Australia, see the last video to find out what happened, I decided to try my luck in Melbourne, the other side of Australia. Here, I decided naively that I'd be working in a bar job in a matter of weeks. So I packed up my stuff and I went to Melbourne on an overnight flight. I quickly set myself up in the cheapest youth hostel that I could find and started adapting my CV to show my hospitality experience, and then uploaded that to Google Drive, took myself along to the local Officeworks and decided to print out a whole lot of CVs for an extortion amount of money. I had two ideas on how to get a job behind a bar. The first was I was going to go into every bar and show my bubbly personality, and hopefully they'd like me and call me back and be like, yo, we want you in our bar. The second was I was going to make a cartoon of myself pouring drinks, because since I don't actually have any pictures of myself pouring drinks, because I've never worked in a bar, but they don't know that. Anyways, I was going to post that on the Melbourne Bartender Exchange, which is a Facebook site that helps bartenders employ people and get employed. The Facebook site seemed really successful. I'm not going to brag, but I totally got 80 plus likes on my post. Oh yeah, and about 15 to 20 responses. They were like, oh yeah, we want some of you, Alex Stokes, you're amazing. Anyways, back to the conventional way of getting a job. I was handing out CVs, and at first I was like, oh, this is going great. I'm handing in my CVs, oh yeah. So one of two things would happen. First, the first person would be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, but we're not really hiring at the moment, so can you please leave? And I'm like, yeah. The second scenario would be that they'd take my CV, give me loads of hope, be like, oh yeah, I love this CV, man. You're so qualified and experienced. Man, you're going to get hired here. We love you. Yeah, I'll call you within like maybe 2 days or something. Yeah, okay, just leave. Okay, cool. And then I'll be like, oh, brilliant, I'll hear back from them. I love working here, and I haven't even worked here yet. It seems like a really cool place. And then they never call me back. And I'm like, what the hell? I've literally just wasted 16p on you. If you didn't want the CV, you should have just fucking said so. Just don't take it. Man, you know how much these CVs cost? Each one was 16p at Officeworks. Come on. So sometimes I'd go in and call them on their bluff. Like, hey, you remember me? I think you were meant to call me back or something. I came in here the other day and you said you'd call me back. Well, you didn't. And they were like, oh yeah, we found someone already. I'm sorry about that. Or they'd be like, I don't know if the person that took your CV in was sane, but yeah, we're not really hiring at the moment. So yeah. After all these mishaps and empty promises bars were giving me, I managed to get myself quite a few trial shifts. Now I'm going to talk about one of the trial shifts that I was at, because it was probably the most interesting. This place was called Jimmy O'Neill's, and of course it was an Irish bar. But bro, that's too much of an Irish name. No one is called Jimmy O'Neill's. I've been to a bar called Finnegan's and that's pushing it, okay? But Jimmy O'Neill's, come on man. Anyways, this bar was in St Kilda, so it's about a half an hour, 45-minute tram journey out of Melbourne. So I get there, I'm all dressed in black, I'm what they want me to be, they tell me about the bar, and everyone is Irish. No surprises there, but literally everyone was Irish. The customers, the bar staff, and I'm rocking up there, Scottish, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, oh, okay. I don't know if I'm going to get this job because, I'm not Irish. Anyways, to make matters worse, Scotland were playing Japan, and this was our last chance of redemption to get into the quarterfinals of the World Cup. The trial shift was going well, but there seemed to be a little bit of a language barrier. Like this one Irish dude, I had to ask him 5 times until I could decipher what he was actually saying. He wanted a Jack Daniels and Coke, But to me, it just sounded like a giant. Or this other dude, he wanted to buy a pint of Furfies, and I said, "Oh, it's $10." So I gave him the machine to ring it up, and then his card declined. And I'm like, "Oh, no worries, try it again." Declined. And he's like, "Oh, it must be this card." So he takes out another card, and he's like, "All right, this one will work." And I'm like, "Okay, here we go." Declines. And I'm like, "Oh, shit." And he takes out another one. He's like, "Oh, this one, I promise you, this one will work." So he puts it on, and it declines again. I'm like, "Mate, I'm sorry." He's like, "Well, what do I do now?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't give you this pint of beer." So this guy literally goes around the entire bar asking strangers to buy him the pint that I've just poured for him. And he finally finds this guy that will actually buy it. And I'm like, "Man, you don't need to do this, but bro, you're a hero. You've saved this guy's night." Because he looked like such a sad little puppy when I couldn't give him the pint. I just felt so bad. It's getting towards the end of the night, and Scotland has just lost against Japan. So I'm in a pretty foul mood. But I don't like that show, because I'm like, well, Scotland may have lost in Tokyo, but they'll win in Jimmy O'Neill's in St Kilda. Damn right they will. At the end of the shift, Craig says to me, "You might as well knock off." So he goes upstairs, and then he gives me some money. I look down at the money, and it's $50. That's $10 an hour. That is shit pay. But I don't say anything more because obviously I don't want to upset them. I want them to give me the job. So I take the money and step out the door. And I'm thinking, "Oh yeah, I'll be able to get the metro home. It'll be alright." I go to the metro, and the next one's at 5 a.m. and it's 12:30. Looks like I'm walking. So I walk home, and it takes me an hour to get back, and I'm just whacked the next day. Craig said to me that he'd call me back for another shift at some point. So I sit there waiting at home, just doing my own thing. And Monday passes. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, they were probably busy on Monday, I don't want to call them up and be like, "Yeah, what about this shift?" So I give it another day. And the whole of Tuesday goes by. And I'm like, what's going on here? You were meant to call me back. Wednesday comes around, and I'm like, right, I'm going to do the classic. I'm going to call them on their bluff, and I'm going to go into Jimmy O'Neill's and demand a job. So I go over, take the 45-minute tram journey, and I step in the door, and I'm like, "Yo, where's this job? You were meant to call me back." Not really, but I saunter in, and I go over to Rachel, and Rachel's like, "Oh, well, the manager's not in the moment, but you could probably speak to Craig, 'cause he'll know more than me." And I say, "Oh, thanks, Rachel. I'll just wait around." So I wait around, and I'm waiting for a good 40 minutes. I mean, come on, Craig. So Craig saunters in, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm just wondering what's happening with the old job thing, I did a trial shift on Sunday, and haven't heard back." And he's like, "Well, I can't tell you anything because I'm not the manager, but if you haven't heard back from us, you probably haven't got it, pal." And I'm like, "Well, can I get the manager's number?" And he's like, "Well, sorry, I can't just hand you her number. I'm not allowed to do that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I walk away with my hands in my pockets. And I'm like, okay. And that was the end of that. But in conclusion, the amount of trial shifts I've done, I actually realised that I actually don't like bar work. I hate serving drunk people. I like being drunk myself with other drunk people, or not being drunk and laughing at drunk people. But getting literally ordered around by drunk people isn't fun. To me. Some people like it, but that's not for me. But the joke's on you, all the bars in Melbourne, because I'm a builder now, and I make twice what I'd be earning as a bartender.